Welcome to my new video about Jiu Jitsu for life. My name is Björn Friedrich and I'd like to talk with you about different topics when it comes to Jiu Jitsu for a living or training Jiu Jitsu for a lifetime. Today I want to start with a very important topic called efficiency versus effectiveness. You know, Jiu Jitsu is, especially in the beginning, Jiu Jitsu is based on effectiveness. When you are a white belt, you don't care too much about how you get the job done. You just care about getting submission. You want to tap your opponent or training partner because you want to get the excitement of, yeah, I got the tap, I learned something about Jiu-Jitsu. So effectiveness is a very important part of Jiu-Jitsu, especially in the beginning. And also it has molded Jiu-Jitsu in a way because the life training, the rolling, the sparring was always a very important part of Jiu-Jitsu, so the realistic approach was there. So, you know, effectiveness is very important. But also it has its downsides. Because actually in Jiu-Jitsu you can make nearly every technique effective. You know, it doesn't matter how sloppy your guard pass is. If you're fast, if you're strong, and if you have endurance, you be a force and you can pass a lot of people. Give an example. If you're a 150-pound 45-year-old guy who just starts Jiu-Jitsu and you have a sloppy guard pass, you cannot do much. But if you are a 22-year-old NFL football player who just starts Jiu-Jitsu with a sloppy guard pass, I guarantee you, you will pass a lot more guard positions because you're strong, you're fast, and you're explosive and you have endurance. So that is a very important part to understand, that not everything you do in Jiu-Jitsu is equal, you know. Some things are effective and some are efficient, and it all depends on how you look at it. So when it comes to effectiveness, like I said, strength, speed, endurance, these are the qualities, the most important qualities when it comes to make things effective. However, these things usually peak when you're 25 or when you're in your late 20s, and then you can keep the level of fitness for about maybe 10 or 15 years, depending on how much you train and how your genetics are. So then you will feel that, okay, you're not so fast anymore, you're not so strong anymore, and your endurance is not that good. Additionally, if you like a fast and explosive game based on your attributes, you're most likely to injure yourself more over the years. So you may be strong with 40, but your joints may be not so strong and not so resilient than they were with 25 or 30. So, you know, the way of fighting with strength, speed, power, endurance, explosiveness is pretty fast, but usually you make fast progress in the beginning, but usually it doesn't last that long. I mean, maybe 5, 10, 15 years. However, there is another path, and that is the path of efficiency. And efficiency means to be able to do things with the least amount of strength and speed and endurance. You know, it's it's the quality of the masters, if you will. When you look at these guys that are 45 or 50, the black belts, and you roll with them. And I remember when I rolled first with my jiu-jitsu teacher, Roy Harris. He was in his 40s and I was 25, I think. I was in the best shape of my life, you know, doing nothing else than just do jiu-jitsu and fitness. And he asked me to roll, and I was pretty excited to do so, but after a few seconds, you know, I get my guard passed, I get side control, I get pressure from him, and I had to tap out from, I don't know, maybe bent unlock or just the pressure, I'm not sure anymore. But it was really, and this happens 3, 4, 5 times in a row. And I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I'm 25-year-old, great shape, and the guy's in his 40s, and kicked my butt like that. And that was a lesson I've learned pretty early in my life, that there are things beyond strength, speed, power, endurance. And for me, efficiency is about timing, is about awareness, is about coordination, is about anticipation, is about strategy, is about feeling for your own body and feeling for the body of your opponent, is about breathing, is about the ability to create a good structure in your body. You know, all these things is about using leverage and using your body weight in a good way. And the good thing is, all these attributes are not peaking in your early or mid-20s. These things can start getting better and better and better as long as you live. I mean, you can have great coordination and great timing in your 70s or in your 80s, you know. You can use your body weight as long as you live, because, I mean, usually your body weight is what you have. You can use strategy as long as you live. You can use body structure to deal with incoming forces as long as you're able to be on a mat. So these qualities are not that easy to achieve, like strength, speed, power, endurance, but usually when you achieve them, you can keep them, you can have them for a much longer time, till the last day you step on a mat, if you will. And so that is something that is pretty important to understand when you start your journey in Jiu-Jitsu, because if you're 22 and you just have the goal of being a whatever champion, world champion, whatever, European champion, and you have nothing to do other than Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, of course you don't care, you just train and you fight. And I have to admit, you know, if you focus on speed, power, endurance, if you roll like a crazy guy for 8 hours a day and don't care too much about your body, this will work in a short time, in a short run. This will work in the next 5 years very, very well, you know. And I believe that it's the best way if you want to be a competitive champion, you know. Of course you will have injuries, of course you will burn out your body a little, but it's a fast way to be good. Because you have to understand, when it comes to competition, you know, which is an interesting topic also, when it comes to competition, it's very different than when it comes to self-defense, or, you know, when you train for your life, Jiu-Jitsu for life, and you want to be every day in your optimum. I mean, you cannot be in your maximum, because every day you can be maximum. So you can be in your optimum, every day you can be in good shape. While if you want to fight tournaments, you know there is one day and you have to be in a peak shape. You see, when I know that, let's say August 1st, there is a tournament, I know there is a point, there is a date where my body has to be ready. So I can train every day, I can put myself every day through a routine till I'm peaking. I'm physically in my peak at August 1st. Then I know that a fight is 5, 6, 7 minutes, doesn't matter, you know, just I know how long the fight will be. So I know, yeah, I know how long I have to keep my endurance. You know, I can sprint, because I know if I can fight 5 minutes like crazy, hey, that's it. I know the fight is over after 5 minutes or 6 minutes. So I can really focus on my sprinting endurance, you know, of going for my fast jiu-jitsu, killing the guy, you know, because I know if I get over the 5 minutes, hey, that it's over. So, you know, then I know, very important too, the guy I fight is in my own weight class. So if I'm pretty strong for my weight in my gym, I could be sure that I'm pretty strong for my weight in the tournament, because, you know, I fight the guys in the same weight class. So if I train hard every day in weightlifting and jiu-jitsu and whatever, you know, I can put myself into a position where I'm pretty strong, pretty much endurance. And I know the guy is in my own age class. I mean, if I'm young, it doesn't matter, but if I'm older, I know that the guy is my own age, so I don't have to deal with younger guys. So that means I can really put myself in a position where I can peak, you know, and where I can use my attributes to sprint and to win the tournament. Jiu-Jitsu for life, Jiu-Jitsu forever, Jiu-Jitsu in a life, without having a certain date to be the best is very different, because you should be in an optimum state every day. Let's take the example of self-defense. You never know when someone attacks you, so there is no off day or off season, you know. You have to be in a same shape every day. You cannot say, okay, next week we fight, then I'm in peak shape. No, you have to be ready every day. And then you never know if the guy is bigger or you know, stronger or heavier. There are no weight classes, so you have to be using jiu-jitsu that deals with stronger guys. You know, you cannot rely on your strengths, because you never know if the guy is bigger. Same with endurance. If you rely on your endurance, you don't know if you have a good day. You don't know if you just out of breath or out of shape, or you don't sleep the whole night and some guy attack you, whatever, and you're not in good shape. So endurance is not a factor that you want to build your game on. So the idea is that you have to create something that is always with you. And that is the thing. If you have a great strategy, if you have great timing, if you have a great awareness, if you understand the strategy in Jiu-Jitsu, how to get the guy to the ground, how to control him, how to use your body weight, how to use leverage, how to let him tire himself out, how to use your own body structure to deal with his force, then you are basically every day in the same optimal level, which is cool, because you can just use it as an everyday thing. And especially, when it comes to injuries, it's also very important, Jiu-Jitsu teaches you to adapt and to improvise. So if you are in great shape, it's easy to win, But what if you are with an injured shoulder, or you are with an injured lower back, or your neck is stiff, or whatever? And sometimes this takes time to heal, and you still want to go on the mat, and you train a little, and you have to find ways, to adapt, ways to overcome these problems, rolling and being able to improvise because you can't use your hand, or you can't bend your spine, or stuff like this. So your jiu-jitsu has to be pretty basic, pretty simple, not too artistic. You don't have to torque yourself into certain positions, because when you get older, usually your structure, your body doesn't like to get torqued so much. So you better stay with strong, stable positions where you can work from, and that is very important to understand. And that's a very, very important distinctive decision you have to make, because when you are 20 and you say, well, I don't care, I just want to win a tournament, I focus on this. Okay, you focus on strength, speed, power, and then you go for 10 years, and then you're 30, and then you feel, oh, fuck, my knees are shot, I can't do double legs anymore, or I can't do De La Riva guard, or whatever, or I can't pass like crazy, because, my body has a little wear and tear. Then you have to stop and say, okay, now I need efficiency. Now I need a new way of jiu-jitsu. I need to change my game from being the fastest and strongest guy in the gym to be the smartest and smoothest and most efficient guy in the gym. However, there's a new beginning when you're 30. If you are 20 and you say, okay, I'm 20, but I know I will get 30 or 35 or whatever, from the beginning of my career, or at least from the very early years of training, I focus on efficiency. I'm focusing on how to be able to tap someone, to control someone without using much effort, much force, much speed. If you focus on this and you are 30, you don't have to change, because this is a journey that goes on and on and on. When you're 30, you're still on this journey and you're looking for even more and more and more efficiency. But you are pretty efficient after 10 years of training, but you don't have to stop and say, okay, now I have to do something different. No, you just continue to be more and more efficient, because you never worked the other side. You never worked too much the side of effectiveness, However, I don't say don't train. A lot of people think when I talk about efficiency, or when I talk about relying on timing and leverage and body weight and stuff like that, you can be out of shape. But I think there is no excuse for being out of shape. Being in shape is always healthy, is always good. If you have strength, is always good for protecting your joints, padding your bones. That's where muscle mass is important, and strength and mobility is pretty important. But it's great as an asset. It's great to protect your joints. It's great to protect your bones. But it's not something that should replace your missing technique. If you are a sloppy guard passer, don't train. If you want to be efficient, don't train to be fast or aggressive or powerful. Just learn how to pass the guard better. Just learn which strategies are good for dealing with certain kind of guys. Just always, and that's my personal experience. Whenever you're in the gym and whenever you train with someone, it doesn't matter how big or small someone is, always train with him like he's 100 pounds heavier. Never train with a smaller guy and try to out-muscle him. if you want to be efficient. Always assume he's bigger, he's stronger, and always look for the techniques or for the principles with the least amount of resistance. That is and it's not easy in the beginning, and of course you will fall back in these patterns of being aggressive and just doing your thing, but that's okay, you know, it's a journey. Don't expect to be perfect from the first day, you know, it's just a journey. Some days you will do better, some days you will do worse, some days you are crazy and you're fucked up and you just go for leg locks and neck cranks because you can't get the efficiency working. But usually over the years this will help and this will change, and you will learn to be efficient in your game, and that is something that is pretty exciting, because, you know, I think when you look at the old Japanese masters like Mifune, the judo master, or Ushiba, the aikido master, all these guys were amazing when they were older, you know, and they're guys like Ushiba, you know, they were admired for their style they created in their old age. You know, just in the Western culture, you know, people kill themselves in the 20s and then maybe keep it to the 30s, and then in the 40s they're usually shot, you know. And I think that it doesn't have to be the case if you train hard but smart. And so that is why I think the transition from effectiveness to efficiency is something you should do pretty early in your career, and that will help you to really define your jiu-jitsu, and you will really see what kind of stuff you need and what kind of stuff you do not need. Because, you know, if you just do the usual strength-based stuff, if you do the stuff you do with 25, you know, the fast guard pass or the whatever, it doesn't matter, you know, and, you know, you get older and you're still on the mat, and people say, oh, I'm still on the mat, it's great, but what you forget is that you don't make progress. You just slow down the process of losing it. And I think that is mentally not something too good. I mean, I don't think it feels so good to just go on the mat and see that you lose and lose and lose your skills. I think it would be much better if you see that even when you get older, you get better. And I think that should be the goal. And to really achieve that goal, you have to really find the right focus on the right qualities. And that is, in my opinion, when I really come to concrete things, you know, I think one of the most important things is timing awareness, the understanding or the ability to feel yourself and to feel your opponent. That's something that takes a long time, but it's pretty good. And all the guys I rolled with had great awareness. You know, all the good old guys I rolled with, like Roy Harris or Joe Morera, they were all very aware of themselves, where they put their hands, their elbows, their knees, you know, and where their opponent was, you know. So this is some very important thing: awareness, timing, sense of yourself, sense of your opponent. Very important thing. Another very important thing, in my opinion, is the structure of your own body. You know, that means to be able to use the skeletal structure, the bone structure, in an efficient way. You don't want to muzzle through things, but you want to position your bones in a way that you don't need too much force to handle the incoming strength. That's a very important part too, you know. Posture of arms, posture of the body, that's very important. Also, the use of the body weight, you know, and that's something, you know, you always, when you get older, you have the tendency to get heavier, so this is something you always can use, you know. Using the body weight as a force to push your opponent or something is great, you know. So this is something you should focus on. Very helpful. Yeah, that's the stuff you can do. It's a pretty big topic, and it's very difficult to talk into detail about all the things you can train, but I think it's a good starting point to understand the difference between effectiveness, efficiency, and the passes you can choose. And everything has its good side and its bad side. Like I said, effectiveness is the fastest way to get a good guy on a mat, but it has a downside. You lose the skills, you lose your attributes, you maybe injure yourself more. Efficiency is something that takes a little longer, but you can keep it forever, and I think the injuries are a little less. So yeah, I think you have to make the decision, but it's important to understand and to be aware of what is possible. So yeah, that was my little video about effectiveness versus efficiency. I hope you like it, and see you next time.